You will notice that in the next part of the video, I'm going to be using a different colour to what I used on the ribbing for my blue one, my light blue one, where I used the ombre yarn. My prototype, the original one that I did, had a grey edging, and it's got the darker blue colours with the grey. So I'm going to be using the grey for this one, and I'm going to be making my original one short sleeved, and then I'm going to add long sleeves to the blue one, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So for your short sleeves, this is the colour I will be using. It's Red Heart Super Saver, and it's the same thickness of yarn and everything, and it's in the colour light grey. Huh. Sorry, it's not how you spell my name, but it's close. So in the light grey, I'm going to be using that one, and I'm actually going to be using a smaller crochet hook for the ribbing around the opening of the arms. You will also need a smaller one for the ribbing if you're doing it around your wrist. I did make the ribbing with the same size crochet hook on my original version, and it didn't sit right. It kind of flared funny around the wrist, and I like my ribbing to be tighter, so I'm going to be using a 4.5mm crochet hook, or a 7.5, I think that's the US size, but anything that's just smaller than the original crochet hook that you use. My original size was a 6mm, you can see there. Oops. So I've got a 6mm, and I'm dropping down to a 5.5. You could actually go to a 5mm. I think that would work as well. With your right side facing out, so this is basically the way you would wear it, the right side facing out, you're going to find one of your armholes. You could work rounds of single crochet or half double crochet around the opening of this. That would look beautiful as well, but I am going to show you how to do the ribbing, and I think because we've got the ribbing on the opening and the bottom, I think the ribbing should go around the arms. So this is for the short sleeved version. So you're going to grab your yarn, and this is your contrast color. So for me it's grey, and in my other light blue one it was cream. We're going to find the underarm, and we can see that it's been joined here because we've got our blue solid. I've got a solid square on the back, and then I've done stripes on the front, and that's the shoulder joint, so where we sewed it together. And then it's basically opposite that, so down here, if I lay that flat, that's a lot easier for you to see. So the sewing part that we did for the shoulder is up there, and then the underarm is down here, so where it joins together. So we're going to join our yarn down in there. You're going to notice that the opening of your armhole is slightly different to mine. That is because I had to do some stitching together to get this to fit me properly. But this is what the armhole will look like on your version. And you just want to make sure you just join the yarn anywhere down the bottom. It doesn't matter if it's slightly different, but just join your yarn down the bottom and then continue on with the instructions. So putting your crochet hook anywhere through here, it's just going to be at the join is there. There isn't actually a stitch there, so you can go next to that, or you can go before the join. And we're going to join our yarn in, so I'm just looping that over the crochet hook and pulling through. I'm going to drop the short end at the back, and I'm just going to do a chain to secure that. I'm going to do a chain 2, and we are going to double crochet all the way around, and we're going to be working into the double crochets that you can see there. And we're just going to be working one double crochet in each stitch. And you can see the stitches along there. We're going to just work one double crochet in each stitch. And we're going to do this all the way around, and then when we get to the shoulder, which is over here, I'm going to show you what to do because it does change slightly. So crochet around, doing 1 double crochet in each stitch, and I'll meet you at the shoulder. You can see the seam there comes across. What we need to do is we need to work in the spaces, which are there, spaces between our 3, but we also need to work into these stitches that we've put in as well. You're probably thinking, how are we going to do that? They're not really how it's supposed to be, but I'll show you. So on the other side, I had 20 stitches, and on this side, I need to put 20 stitches. Otherwise, my armhole's going to be uneven on one side. So you need to keep that in mind. I had to do it 2 or 3 times before filming this part to get it right, and that's what I found, that I've got 20 on the other side, and if I crochet into the spaces and each stitch, then I will actually get the same amount, even though I didn't crochet into my spaces on that side. Doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't need to because it works. So into the space, going to work double crochet, and into, so this is 1 stitch. Let me just pull that aside so you can see. That's 1 stitch, it's upside down. You can see these 2 little loops that come around our chain just here. We're actually going to crochet between these vertical bars, and I think on my cardigan videos that I've done before, that I've actually done that around the neck, but this time it's around the armhole. So we're going to put our crochet hook in between these vertical bars. There's 1 there and 1 there. I'm going to put it straight in the middle, hoping that you can see that. I'm going to work our double crochet again with the next one. So you're going to work 3 of these. So go into the next one. You've got the vertical bar here and the vertical bar there. You're going to work into the center of those vertical bars. You may even find, if you do that, you can put your crochet hook in between. So that's 2. To do the 3rd one. And then we also want to work into this space, and what that does is keep our shells apart. So coming around, finding that next set of 3, we've got 3 stitches here. So going between the 2 vertical bars. Once you know where to go, it's easy to put your crochet hook. It's just figuring out whereabouts. Coming up to another space because we just did 3. Crochet into there. I'm going to repeat this until we get to the end. So pause the video and I'll see you when we are at the end. So making sure that we have a even amount of stitches. So I have 40, but that includes the chain 2. So I'm actually going to add 1 more stitch, and then we're not going to include that chain 2. Then I'm going to join to the very first double crochet. That's my chain 2. I'm going to join over there. And that, just going to make sure that's secure at the back. I need to sew that in. So now what we want to do is chain 2, and we're going to work a front post. You could start with a back post, it doesn't really matter. And because we're doing front post and then a back post, then a front post, hopefully when we come back around, we will be on the right stitch that is for our we'll be in the right stitch to make it a seamless join. So we've got chain 2, so I'm just going to start with front post, but like I said, you can start with the back, it doesn't really matter. As long as you do that on each round. Yeah, so do that on each round, like you start with the front post, keep doing that on each round. So back post, and then front post, You know how to do this because you have just done the ribbing. And then we're going to work this all the way around. I'm on a front post, and I started with a front post. So that means this is a back post, and that means that my combination has worked. So we are going to do our last stitch. If yours hasn't worked, you can maybe just add 2 stitches around that last one to get you back to your right combination. And when we join, don't pay any attention to that chain 2, join into the top of the first double crochet. And see how there's like that weird bit there? When we do our next row, got a front post is our first stitch. We're going to go around both of those, so it's a chain 2 and the first stitch for a front post. You could try and just poke that to the back. This is under our arm, so you're not going to see it that much. So then we continue on, and what we do is we repeat this row for as many rows as what we want to put on our armband. This is going to be my last one. This has got 6 rows on the ribbing around the opening, so I'm going to make this one 3. I think that should look good. I think if I did it too wide, it's going to look a bit weird around the arms, but hey, you do it how you would like to do it. So continue around, working as many rows as you like. You're also going to do the other side, so the other armhole opening, and that will be the cardigan finished. If you're doing the short sleeves, that's exciting. You will need to sew in all your ends, and you can give this a bit of a block as well, because sometimes the ribbing and that doesn't sit properly. So I will show you how to do the blocking as well. So stay tuned for that video.